Hi and welcome everyone. My name is Karina Ladet. I'm an intuitive healer, a channel, and a mentor for conscious entrepreneurs. And I'm super excited to have the amazing Jodee Peevor with me here today. Jodee, yay!
Hey, darling. Thank you for inviting me on, darling. It's lovely to be here.
Oh, such a pleasure. And so for those of you who don't know Jodee, she's a website expert who builds beautiful online businesses. She has a massively successful business in the UK, but she works with people all over the world. She's a strategy guru, and she's also the creator of the JTW, Jodees TP Weekender, that I had the great pleasure to be a part of almost last year, a couple of months ago.
Like last year, and
it does feel like that, yeah. And she's doing it again next year. So Jodee is really here because today I want to talk about leadership, and I feel like Jodee's one of the most amazing leaders that I've seen so far in the online world and offline as well, because she's feel like you're really nailing the stepping into your leadership and daring to make decisions, lead people, lead your communities, and be that strong person at the center. And at the same time, you're really good at inviting people into that kind of team experience and making everyone feel included. So yeah, welcome. And Jodee is also going to be one of the guest teachers in my Lead with Heart mastermind. And I'm so excited to learn more about how you do that. So I would love to start a bit just to ask you about your journey into your business and to where you are now, really, in your business and in your life, if you want to share.
Thank you. I had my first little baby boy back in 2005, and I thought, I don't want to go back to work for somebody else. So I set up a business. I think a lot of people have got that story where they just say, hang on a minute, my life is reframed, you know, there's extra people in it. Yes. And I have different priorities now. So my number one top priority is being a mum. Karina has cried with me in many an evening where we talk about mothership and how amazing it is, and how actually that is all there is. I think that's what we're here to do. I'm not going to go off on a tangent into birthing, but oh my goodness, you know, that's why I do everything that I do, is so that I can look after and support and love my children. So I think that just comes straight from the heart, and it's why I choose to work with the kind of people that I choose to work with, because I want people who are similar minded and similar valued to that. So I've been doing this for, oh my goodness me, nearly 14 years, which is ace, and I absolutely love it. And it's grown and it's changed and it's become more and more what I want it to be. And I think that's one of the lovely things about being an entrepreneur, is you can create the business that you truly have in your vision. And it doesn't happen overnight, but over the years you tweak it and you nudge it and you learn things and you say, oh, hang on, maybe this is how I want to do it, and things like that. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love how committed you are to your values as well. It's never just about business with you, and how you invite that and that experience into everything that you create with your home and your children and your husband. And it's very like down to earth and no facade or trying to show like a perfect, some kind of perfect mask and then something different behind it. Like, it's very real, and I love that about you.
Very, very real. I have a rule in my business, which is I do not work with anybody who I would not A, have as a friend on Facebook, or B, invite home for dinner with my family.
I love that. That's such a great way to choose who to be with, who to work with, isn't it?
It really works, because if you wouldn't friend someone on Facebook, why on earth do you want to work with them? I think that's, you know, and that's me from when I first started my business. It was very transactional, and I was working with, you know, corporates without a heart. And I was like, ooh, this does not feel nice. And I realized, hang on, if I went back to 2005, I would not invite any of those people to be Facebook friends. I'm telling you, oh my gosh.
Or to your home, right?
Exactly. No way. But now, I mean, JTW is in my grounds. It's here at Lower House. It's not in a conference center somewhere. So yeah, I do like to open up. Karina and I are always talking about Jodee's boundaries and whether or not she has any. I'm working on that. It's a work in progress. I'm very generous with my energy, and I'm very generous with my space. And sometimes I have to make that a little bit smaller for my husband because he's not quite, as open to the space opening that I am and sharing. But, that's all good.
And it's all learning and work in progress, and how do we expand and do our thing in a way that feels good to us, and at the same time honor the people we live with and love as well, because that's also important. So it's not really, maybe not compromising, but finding ways that work for everyone. And I guess that's a learning thing, and sometimes it's a good thing to be with someone who has maybe stronger boundaries too, because it teaches us certain things, and then we get to play with different ways of being. So
exactly.
Could be really great. And would you say that's one of your biggest challenges, the boundaries, or is there anything else you want to share?
I take on responsibility for other people's joy, and I am learning to be kinder to myself and not do that so much. When we ran JTW this year, I was very conscious that I wanted everyone to get on, and I wanted everyone to just be wonderful and happy and joyous. And I realized that I took on the responsibility of everybody getting on. And when there were a couple of instances where people weren't quite so getting on, not in a negative way, but just a little bit of clash of personalities, I took that to heart massively. And I think anyone who runs an event that really comes from the heart in that way, rather than a big sort of corporate conference thing, because I really didn't care that way when I used to do corporate events at all. If people fell out, I didn't even bother. But that was an interesting thing that came up for me, which you helped me with. And I think understanding that whilst we will bring like-minded people together, just because we're like-minded doesn't mean that we'll always, be the perfect dynamic. So letting that responsibility go is definitely a challenge of mine, because I want everyone to get on and be lovely and wonderful.
I think that's a very common thing, isn't it? I mean, I love when people get along too, and no friction. But the thing is, people also learn, and we also learn when we don't get along, and we don't because then we have to learn how to move through that, and maybe sometimes we're some things mirror back that we need to work on, and it's all really good learning, isn't it? Even if it doesn't always feel nice, right?
When you're having a meltdown, it's like
I'm having a learning experience here.
Oh, it's a very, very, very good experience here. I'm learning, really. Yes.
Yeah, so true. I would love for you to share a bit about what kind of leader you are. How would you define yourself?
Okay, I'm going to take you back to when I was about 5.
Oh, wow.
So this is when I became a leader for the very first time, apparently. As kids, we used to go all over Europe, and we would camp and take caravans and tents, and we went with 2 other families. So there were 15 of us, and we would just sort of put our caravans and awnings all together. So there was this big kind of community thing, and it was great. And I would stroll off, because in those days, in 1981, you could just go off and play.
Yeah.
When you were 5. Whereas now it would be like, we need 18-foot fences and security cameras, because the children cannot move more than 10 feet from the caravan. But in 1981, you just went off. So my mum and my godmother, who were probably halfway down a bottle of something by that stage, were howling uproariously. And my godmother uses this whenever she does speeches at parties of mine. She said, Jodee, it was hilarious. You were strutting across the center of the campsite, wearing a pair of shoes and wellies, a pair of shorts and wellies, nothing else, with a piece of string in your hand and a chicken on the end of it, and 11 children of varying ages who you were very enthusiastically taking off with you to go and do something somewhere, probably in a creek somewhere, and build a dam or something. None of them spoke English.
Wow. But
you were taking them all on your project, and they had big grins on their faces, and they were going for it. They're like, we're just following Jodee. It sounds good to us. We're with her. And I took all these blooming kids across this campsite, age 5, going, come on, we're going to do this. It's going to be brilliant. And that's pretty much me now, age 42. Mm. I come up with ideas, and I have passion and confidence in them. I'm always saying to you I've had a brilliant idea. Oh my God.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I don't have crap ideas. I have brilliant ideas. Come on, let's do this. And my enthusiasm is infectious, I think. And so people just kind of get caught up in that. And they're like, yes, let's make this a reality. Come on, what do you need us to do? And I'm like, well, we need someone to do this and someone to do that. And let's, we'll all cobble together and brew. Yeah. So that's my kind of leadership style right from the beginning, I'm afraid.
Wow. It's great when you get like a glimpse of what we were like at the beginning and the things that we kind of cultivate in different ways and how it turns out later. I love that. So that's the chicken story.
Yeah. But at GTW, I had such a range of cultures. We had people from all over the world, different languages, different cultures. It was just me being 5 with a chicken on a string.
Yeah, I love that. And it is kind of what you do now too, isn't it? It's just, I have this great idea. And there's something about the confidence and the enthusiasm, isn't it? Because I find a lot of women are quite like, so we want to fit in and make sure we're doing the right thing. And I feel like you don't really have that. You're more like, really connected to your own kind of genius and inspiration. And then you go for it. It's as if you assume that everyone's going to love it and just be caught up in that somehow.
Yeah. Hello. Yes. There is something that I need to, sometimes I feel I need to make it smaller, but I'm all about me just being me and being as big and enthusiastic as I am naturally. But I was invited on an interview last year for a lady who specializes in teaching people how to self-love. And she's based in the UK here, a couple of miles from me. And she'd been on a journey of self-love. And she said, you're really confident. I want to get you on for an interview. So I did an interview with her. And after the interview, she was in shock.
Oh, really?
Like, I've never met anyone with the level of self-love that you have, the level of confidence in yourself and your, you just go for stuff. And she recorded a video afterwards. It was like, I'm going back to the beginning. I'm starting all over again because I thought that I'd nailed it, but I haven't because I've just spoken to Jodee.
Oh, no. I love that.
I do have to I have to make myself a little bit smaller sometimes. But yes, I am very confident in ideas and I'm an ideation person. I am. But I'm also I'm good at making decisions quickly. And they're good decisions. I don't make bad decisions quickly. I make good decisions quickly. So I will sort of rack everything up in my head. I'm very sort of strategic. I'll go, yes, let's do this, go. And I have to allow for the fact that everyone else has to keep up. And they're like, what Richard will say, Jodee, I need about 3 months. That's my husband, Richard. To get to where you are right now. I'm like, oh, come on, catch up, come on. So I need to allow, yes.
Interesting, because one of the things that I really love, there are many things I love about you, but you're so good at finding the right support, because it's like, so I feel like you're you're definitely a visionary and you have that strong sense of what you want to do, what you don't want to do, how you want to do things. And I think that's really important as an entrepreneur, because we are at the center of our business. If we don't know, no one else is going to know for us. But at the same time, you're also really good at surrounding yourself with the right people and seeing what everyone's good at, as if you can see at the same time as you can see for yourself what you're good at and what your strengths are. You also have that with other people. So you're really good at inviting in more support. And I'd love to know a bit about how you've done that as you've grown your business, because now your business is much bigger than it was when you first started. Like, how did you know how to call in the right support and find the right people and like that whole process?
I think one of the things I've noticed looking at other people's businesses compared to mine is that even though we are the center of our business, that doesn't mean we need to be the ego of the business. And I think quite a lot of people get that mixed up and they think that the business is all about them, and it isn't. The business is about the clients. And so like at JTW is not about me. I've called it Jodee's TP Weekend because I want people to know that I'm running it, because there's lots of people who know me over the years. But the event is not about me. It's not, oh my gosh, I'm now going to talk. And, I barely stood up at JTW this year. I think I did one session. Because it's not about me. And the business, I found this really interesting because I wasn't stamping my ego all over it. I then got myself caught up because I brought in members of staff, and I would then get my clients working with the members of staff. And then the clients would get annoyed saying, but we've paid to work with Jodee and now we're working with one of your members of staff. I had to kind of go backwards a bit and bring a little bit more ego in and say, actually, Jodee's going to be very much involved in front of house for these things. And I had to then separate the other bits, so the more support things and the behind the scenes stuff for other members of staff. Because when I pulled back from being the front of house, that didn't work for my clients. But it's interesting finding that balance of ego when you're an entrepreneur. We need the courage of our convictions. We need to be able to make decisions well and quickly. But we don't need to be, it's not all about us. It's not the me show at all. And I think when you are strong enough and confident enough to be an entrepreneur, sometimes that can come with a very strong and confident ego as well. And I've not been that kind of person. And I think that's an interesting balance to just appreciate, even if it's a lifetime journey to sort of control our egos, because sometimes they do just jump in. But if we can try and bring ourselves back to, hang on, why are we doing this? We want to serve. We want to support people, and we want to make their lives better. And as a result and a product of that, our lives will then be enriched and will be made better. But the initial goal is not about us. And I think that's a really important thing, especially as you grow as well.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think that's really, really important. And it's always about balance, isn't it? It's like finding your balance, and then as we grow, we need to find it again, and then trying things out and tweaking. And how do you see, like, for example, when things don't work out the way you want them to, or things aren't working, or they don't become as big maybe as you wanted them to be, if it's a project or with the client or something, how do you deal with that?
My biggest thing is wanting to serve people brilliantly. And if I feel that I haven't, that floors me completely. It absolutely does. It's the biggest thing. It's the thing that I stay awake at night worrying about is, have I done the best for my clients? Am I serving them to the best of my abilities? And so all of the rest of it is secondary to that, genuinely. I think if you have a conscience about how you treat your clients, how you treat your staff, they all come first. When it comes to paying everybody at the end of the month, all of my staff have already been paid on, in the first couple of days of the month, and then I pay myself at the end. I am the last thing on the list, kind of thing, because you've got to make sure your staff are there to support you. You've got to make sure that your clients are looked after. But if you're asking me what is the bit that I struggle with most, I think it's my need to be as amazing as I possibly can be for clients. And sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're not. And because we're human. And so, we might make mistakes, or we might, not be as responsive as we want to be because we're busy or whatever. So yeah, that's the thing that I struggle with. But I think no matter how much you grow or stay small, you'll always have that problem, because we're always concerned about how well we serve people.
Yeah, of course. And that's also a great priority to have, right? As I find, especially when it comes to the online world, where a lot of people talk about, making money, raising our prices, making sure we look in a certain way, or it's really focused on us as entrepreneurs. And I think it's really great to really focus on our clients as well, because we are here to serve them and to have that genuine desire to support others. Because I think it's really difficult to work with people if you don't want to genuinely help and be of service, right?
Yeah, it's not about us being celebrities. And there's a lot of celebrities out there, and they obviously need that, and that's okay. But most of us just genuinely want to be here to serve, and it's not about the $3.5 million launches and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah. And so because I know another thing that's really important as we grow our business is self-care. So how have you, what has your journey been like when it comes to self-care and taking care of yourself and making sure your needs are met as well, so that you can show up fully from the beginning until like now?
My boundaries now are really good. I work 3 days a week, and I have a masseuse who comes to my house once a month, and I have a housekeeper who cooks for me and does my dishwasher, and I have cleaners that clean the house, and I have gardeners that take care of the garden. The support team I have in place now is amazing. And being in a position where you can outsource those kinds of things so that you're not really stressed about stuff. My husband used to row that I hadn't done the dishwasher during the day. And I'm like, but I'm working. He said, yeah, but you're at home. Yeah, but I'm working. I'm not, a mum at home, stay-at-home mum who's doing the dishwasher. So having a housekeeper who comes in and does the dishwasher every day Solves that problem, done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what I tend to do is react to everything that comes into my path. So I knew that because I hold my clients' businesses in my head, it's exhausting. It's, I have up to 10 full-time clients at any one time, and my brain is full. So if I did that 5 days a week, then I would probably notice after a while that I couldn't function at the high level that I want to.
Yeah.
So I don't work Tuesdays and I don't work Fridays. And sometimes people want to challenge that, and they're like, oh, but can't I have a call with you? And I have to set those boundaries quite tight. Sometimes I'll do it, if there's change of plan or something, but I keep those boundaries really quite tight. And, I never cancel my masseuse. That is in the diary. That doesn't change ever. And I think self-care is whatever you need it to be in order for you to stay at your optimum. Everybody has different needs for self-care. Some people need to do exercise. I do not. Can I just say, FYI, not need to do exercise.
Yeah.
I eat well. I have Rachel makes me lunch all week, me and Richard, which is delicious. So I don't need to think, oh, I've got to go and eat refined bread flour toast for my lunch because that's all I've got in. Well, I just go to my fridge and get some of Rachel's lunches out. So those kind of things, that was where I was not excelling, because I wasn't planning ahead for lunches, or I wasn't planning ahead for the evening meal, and then we'd go and eat something rubbish from a takeaway or whatever.
Yeah.
I think every time you realize that something is not working, you need to do something about it. And there is, that's easy to do. You just change. Like Emma Dredge was talking to me about 1.5 years ago about how you get stressed in the morning with the school run. And I said, oh, I'm always in a rush. And I said, I'm going to get up 7 minutes earlier. If you realize there's an issue, you do something about it. And self-care, I think the problem is that a lot of people don't even realize there's an issue. They don't until it's too late. And so they might look at me and go, God, that's really, over the top. But actually, I ain't burning out.
No, and I think that's really important. Did you have any, because I know a lot of women, that's the thing, right? The housework and the stuff with the kids and all that, those things, because usually the work is fine. And then as the kids grow, then we have more and more time for our businesses. But was that ever an issue for you to ask for help and to call in help and to pay someone
I had
to
a
help
nanny
with
for
that?
Poppy. Yeah, I had a nanny for Poppy, and she was amazing, Emma. And because I wanted to balance what I was doing, because I'm doing this for my kids, I'm not doing this for me. I had to keep reminding myself, you're doing this for the kids. So you can't then put the kids in full-time childcare so that you work, because then what's the point?
Yeah.
So I had Emma in the house with me, and in between client calls, we would just hang out and we'd play with Poppy, we'd watch a movie, or we'd do a jigsaw, or we'd do some paint. And then I'd say, right, love you guys, I'm going to go back on a client call now. And I go into the office and shut the door. And that made me feel as though I was loving my daughter and supporting her, but also giving her a gorgeous, Emma was an absolute legend, is a legend. She's still very much part of our life. And knowing that Poppy was being so loved and so cosseted meant that I could then be present fully with my clients, instead of thinking, oh God, I'm neglecting her, I've just put her in front of a telly or something. I knew that she was having fun. And Emma did stuff with her that I never did. She was like, wow. She brought in all sorts of things that they could do together, which I never used to do. But again, I think it's about realizing there's an issue and taking action. Because it's really easy to moan about things and say, oh, this isn't how I would want it to be. Well, how do you want it to be? Well, make that happen then. It doesn't have to be throw money at it. It can just be a change of mindset. It can be reorganizing your day or your routine. Like I say, getting up 7 minutes earlier so that I'm not angry on the school run because we're in a rush.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because I find sometimes some women, like when it's when you start making a little bit more money, but maybe not so much that you feel that you can invest in getting more help, like how do you get through that? But that another solution is, okay, what can I do with what I have now?
Yes.
And that can be, like you said, rearranging your schedule. It can be swapping with another parent, like maybe having 2 kids, and then they have their, like, finding what works for us. Because sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, well, that's easy for Jodee to do because she lives in a mansion, right? But you built your way up to that, right?
I didn't start here, exactly. I was in my 1-room wide Victorian terrace 10 years ago. But also, I think, so when I had Sam, Savannah and I started working together in 2009. And she was at university during the day, and she would get on the bus after uni and come to me for 5:30, and we worked till midnight.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was there for the school run in the morning. I was there to pick up Sam after school. I was there to do his homework and stuff before Richard got home from work. Richard got home from work about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I was with Sam for 3 hours. And then Sam would go to his dad, Richard would do the evening meal, and Sav and I would be in the office until midnight, and she'd get the last bus home. Now, you look at that now and think, oh my God, how did I do that? Because that was the only option. I couldn't afford a nanny when I had Sam, but I could afford a nanny when I had Emma, when I had Poppy. So, you know, you just figure out a way. So Sam was asleep for most of the time that I was working with Savannah. So I wasn't leaving him. And the hours that he was awake, he was with his dad. And he needed quality time with his dad as well. So there's always a way that you can make it better. The key thing is that you remember why you're doing it. Because if you become an entrepreneur so that you can be at home for your kids, and then you work all the hours God sends and you put them on the bus to get home from school, I'm sorry, but hang on, why are you doing this again? You may as well be employed and work 9 to 5, and you probably see the kids more.
Yes, so important why we do this and what our priorities are, and to really focus on that and to make decisions that are in alignment with what our priorities are. And like you said, we can always find other ways of doing things. And making sure that, because when you're doing things and it feels good, then it's so much easier to have a successful business than when you feel like you're missing out everywhere, right? Working too much, but maybe not as much as you want to, or not having time with your family, and just kind of running around and not really doing what matters the most.
Whatever you choose to do in the moment, you need to be present. So this is going to sound weird, but before I came on the call with you, I had a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Now, I've got lots of work to do because this is my week before Christmas, as everyone else is. So we're all crazy busy trying to get client work done. But I thought to myself, I'll bring the Cocoa Pops into the office and I can eat with one hand and work with the other. And I thought, no, I'm eating my Cocoa Pops. I'm going to be present to eat my Cocoa Pops. And I sat down on the chair in the kitchen and ate my Cocoa Pops. That sounds really silly. It's a tiny thing. But whatever you're doing at the moment, be in the moment, be present. When I had my masseuse yesterday, Sandra, I'm thinking, I've got this client work to do, and I've got that client project to do, and I've got this to do, and then I need to do that. And then Poppy they've both got non-school uniform day on Wednesday because it's the last day of term. Stop, Jodee, be present. Feel the massage in your shoulders, which feels like heaven. Because otherwise, the hour and a half is going to be up, and you're going to go,
I missed my massage. Right?
I thought about work the whole time. What is the point in that?
So
whatever we're choosing to do with our time, we're in control of what we do with our minutes in the day. So be present with them, I think.
That's great advice. And I think for everything, right? When we're with our kids, when we're working, when we're not working, because otherwise we're not actually here, are we?
No.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Jodee. Do you want to leave like one last piece of advice when it comes to leadership, and maybe what the biggest gift is in fully stepping into your own leadership and being the leader that you want to be? Because we all get to define what that means to us, right? Biggest gift.
Being a leader, you have to inspire confidence in your team. And that means you need to know your own pathway. If I'm taking somebody, I don't know, with a chicken on the end of a string and 11 German kids, they need to know that they're following somebody who is actually, on a set path. Not, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing and what am I going to do? And oh my God, And there are times when you change your mind. There are times when you go off on a different path. But you should still have the courage of the conviction of that new path. It's really important when people follow you that they have confidence in you, because I've found that now I engender that confidence, so people do things with me when they don't even know what they're going to be doing. So I'll say, I'm doing this thing, it's next September, do you want to be in it? And they're like, yeah. And I had one of them for JTW post a thing saying, I don't even know what it is yet, but I'm going. Now that's what you want to be doing, inspiring that level of confidence so that people they trust you, they've got faith. rather than thinking, oh my God, she's a wobbly one. Do I really want to be following her? Because, oh my God, she doesn't even know what she's doing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, that's scary. That is really scary. And I think if you're going to be a leader, and you don't have to be a leader, you know, we need leaders and non-leaders. But if you're going to be a leader, you need to make your followers be comfortable. You know, when we sit on a chair, we need to know it doesn't break underneath us. And when we follow a leader, we need to know that she knows what she's doing and she's taking us a good path and it's going to have a good outcome.
Yeah, great, Jodee. Yeah, I love that. And for people to really step into that, because often we kind of receive guidance or we know that we're meant to do certain things, to really step into that. Because when we do that, and we tell people we're going on this journey, it's going to be amazing. I don't know all the details, but when I feel into it, I just feel all that magic. Then people want to join you on that too, and to really embrace that and not be like, well, I don't know all of it, and what if I can't, like, to really, really connect in with that vision too, right? And how it feels.
Well, if it's not authentic, you can't pretend to have the courage of your convictions.
No.
You have to feel it. You have to believe in it. And all we're doing really is externalizing what we feel inside. So if you know that you're meant to do something, or you know you've had a calling to do something, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do, but when you finally step up and say, I'm going to do it, all you're doing is externalizing what's happening inside anyway. So you can have the strength, you know, to move forward. And you know what? Confidence and enthusiasm, that's got me through so much in my life. Just saying, I'm going to bloody do it. Are you coming? People are like, okay, you know, because it is infectious. Enthusiasm is infectious. Dull, low energy is not infectious.
No. And I think there's also something that happens when you keep following that calling, like you have done for a really long time in your life, because now you know what that feels like, and you know that it's probably going to work because it's worked before, and you build that keeps building your confidence and your faith in yourself and your visions and your ideas. And the more crazy, magical things we've done, the more we trust that it's possible. So I think it's because when we feel the call and then we go, no, I'm not going to do it, and then we let it go, and then we have another idea and then we don't, it's like then we slowly lose our faith in ourselves and we lose our power. So I think it's really important to kind of keep, and like, what's the worst thing that could happen, right? Doesn't work out.
Thing. And you know what? Using that is incredibly useful. When I was running JTW, I sold the first 4 tickets, and then there was a bit of a hiatus and I didn't sell any tickets for a while. And so I would lie in bed going, oh my God, what if it doesn't sell out? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I just kept coming back to that. What's the worst that can happen? So if you don't sell more than 4 tickets, are you still going to run JTW this year? Yes, I am. Okay. What kind of experience are the 4 people who attend going to have? Oh my God, friggin' awesome experience, because they're going to have 11 speakers all focused on them. Yeah. Wow. I mean, for them, that's like VIP retreat situation.
Yes.
And then I would go back to sleep again and sleep really well. So going back to that, and it sounds like you're being negative, but you're not. You're saying, hang on a minute, let me think of what's the worst that can happen. Will I still go ahead with this if that's the truth?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So what have we got to worry about? We haven't got anything to worry about anymore because we're still going to go forward.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing to do when you make a decision. Say, okay, you know, is this going to bankrupt me and end up with us all floating down the river on a boat with all our belongings? No. Right. Well, let's carry on. Is it? Yeah. Yes. Okay, maybe let's not do that then. Maybe let's not do that.
Yeah, I know. It's a great question. And I found that it really releases all the tension, because often the worst thing that can happen is maybe we lose money, or maybe we don't make as much as we want to. And that's, I mean, depending on how things are, it's not that bad, right? And then there's so much to gain from that as well. So that's a really good thing. So thank you so much, Jodee, for your time and all these awesome ideas and lots of wisdom that you shared. And so I would love to invite those of you who feel called to step into your leadership and to really lead your communities and the movements that you're being called to lead, to join me in the Lead with Heart mastermind that starts in January. And Jodee's going to be one of the amazing guest teachers, and she'll be supporting us as well. So I'll leave some links below so you can find out more, and also so you can find Jodee and see what she's up to. And if you feel called to join the JTW event in May, then come. I'm going to be there, and amazing people from all over the world, actually. I think not just Europe are going to be there, and it's just a spectacular experience. And it's so great to see someone who has a strong and clear vision, who brings it into life, and just to see how spectacular that can be. Because that's the thing, that's a gift, isn't it? When we really honor those creative ideas and those visions, and we make them happen, I find it always goes beyond anything that we could ever imagine, right, when it comes to the return.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, darling.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you to everyone watching, and we will see you soon.